Tyler was training to be an army soldier when he was 16, and he got pains in the balls of his feet. It made it very difficult for him to stand on his feet, and he had to come out of the army. The condition got worse. He kept having bed rest and then on his feet, but the condition got worse and worse and worse until in the end he couldn't walk at all, maybe 10 metres. This was 3.5 years ago that we've been backwards and forwards to doctors. We've tried the simple painkillers at the beginning, the paracetamol, the ibuprofen, doing the rice technique, which they thought that was just inflammation at the time. He found it very difficult to have anything touching his feet at all, and he always has to sit with his feet over the edge of the settee so they're not touching anything. He finds standing on it he's very limited. He's got 1 or 2 seconds before the pain starts kicking in, and he says it just gets more and more intense until he cannot stand, so he has to take the weight off his feet. We continued and got prescribed more and more painkiller medications, the diclofenacs, the tramadols, cocodamol, coldrimonol, peptides. We got put onto gabapentins, which didn't work. He got then told that, hey, you know what, you've got depression. Here's some antidepressants as well. We tried amitriptyline, trazodone. We tried other routes that we'd gone through. We've tried hyperbaric oxygen therapy treatment. We've tried getting him food intolerance tested to see if that had any influence on him. We've tried hot and cold therapy. We've tried sports massage. We've tried rolfing, acupuncture. We've even bought a jacuzzi so that he can have hydro water therapy and take some of the aching out of his feet like that. Some things had little effect and relieved some of the symptoms, but we're really more after a cure for the problem and not just mask the symptoms. Our only options left back in England at the moment are more painkillers. I think they're on about pregabalin, and then really you're on your morphine type and maybe ketamine eventually, I don't know. We've come over to Dr. Rhodes, and within a minute of him and his colleague walking into the room and looking at the x-ray, they could see straight away that was depletion of mineral deposits within his bones. Calcium was being lost, and he has hollows in there, which obviously cause him very deep aching. And the hospitals back in England, we've had numerous x-rays over the last 3.5 years and MRI scans, and the doctors have not seemed to pick up on a lot of these issues there, so we were quite astounded. And yesterday, for the first time, Tyler had something to eat. After that, he'd had something to eat prior, but he has got a lot better appetite now. He's hungry, and he can feel when his body is telling him he's hungry. But we'd had something to eat yesterday, and he got no pain in his right foot for about between 1 and 2 minutes, and he even wiggled his toes to see if he could feel any pain, and he still couldn't, which was a bit shocking. He didn't have any pressure on his feet at the time. When he stood back up, he started feeling the pain again, but he said generally yesterday the pain was different in his right foot to his left foot, was slightly less. So to us that indicates that it's having an impact. Windows of change are beginning to happen, so we're really hopeful for the future. Yeah, we when Tyler first got a problem with this RSD, I was looking desperately for information to try and understand what the problem was about, and we came across a local girl in the next village who had RSD, and we'd gone to see her, and she was in a really bad condition. She'd been bedbound for a number of years and in terrible pain and on ketamine, and we'd had a visit there, and she kept said to Tyler to keep moving, don't stop moving. The worst thing to do is sort of go non-weight bearing all the time. We went to see her when we were getting no further on 3 years later, and had a revisit, and in that time she'd been to Dr. Rhodes and had the therapy and took the VECTTOR machine back, and she was then in a wheelchair and able to get about. She now attends school and she pops off to the local shop in the wheelchair, and her foot completely looks different now. When we first saw it, it was very red and inflamed, and now it's more takes the shape of a normal foot on. So that gives us a lot of encouragement, and that, I think, tipped the balance for us to come here, because you can actually physically see changes happening there, and then her whole life had been made different, better.